Everybody, welcome into the Casual Sports Podcast as we get set to wrap up week 3 of the show. I'm Alec Berna. To my left, your right, Mike Wolfgang. To my right, your left, Matthew Morrison. Boys,
what's up? How we feeling?
Another week in the books.
Another
feeling
Football
good.
Friday here.
Feeling good. We got a bell finally. We rang it for the
Made
first
its
time.
debut yesterday.
Made its debut, and
Feeling good about that.
perhaps we might get to it again here today. You never know. We got some big games on slate for college football. Thursday night football nearly gave us a huge game. It was close down to the wire. Jags nearly pulled it off, but Bengals took home the title last night. We'll get into that game and more on today's show. Matt and I also previewing Newton Falls at Brookfield tonight in Brookfield, as that game should give us something. We're not really sure what to expect. Both teams in the playoff hunt, but we're still waiting for Newton Falls to find its stride. We'll preview that one there as well. Let's get into our question of the day from yesterday first, though. Which of the following players shared the NFL record for most career safeties? Out of the 5 options, 3 of them were correct. Jared Allen, Doug English, and Ted Hendricks all tied for 4 safeties forced in their careers. Question of the day for today, start of October as well.
Let's see it.
Which longtime Cowboys front office executive was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2019? Your options: Gil Brandt, Bum Bright, Jerry Jones, Tom Landry, Tex Schramm. Leave your answer somewhere. Come back tomorrow. See if you're not tomorrow. Dang, I did it again, boys. Just like last Friday. Come back Monday and find out if you get it right. So let's get into some of the college, or actually, let's get into high school football. Matt and I here first.
Start off there.
Tonight in Brookfield, Friday Night Lights. 2 teams in the playoff hunt here in the Mahoning Valley for Division 6 Region 22. Brookfield ranked 5th in that race. Newton Falls back at 16th. Newton Falls, a huge uphill battle coming into this one. Brookfield's only lost a 7-point game against Springfield, currently ranked 5th place in their division, and has only had the 1 loss on their own accord. Now to South Range in week 1 when Dylan Dominguez and that Raiders offense just went berserk, put up 42 in that win. But you go down to this Brookfield squad, they have only had the 2 close games. The one we just talked about with Springfield, 2014, and a game they probably should have won. They had it going that entire first half. Then here comes Bo Brungard. They take it back the other way. We talked that game to death on this show, though.
Yes, we have.
Last week, they took it on the road. Biggest road game they've had so far. They're going up against a 3-2 Crestview. Crestview that a lot of people were talking about as the potential one of the favorites coming out of this area, and that was a dominant force. They've been beating a lot of people.
As they usually are, Crestview is.
Right. Brookfield comes out with the win 20-13 in that game last week, and now comes in here today against a 2-4 Newton Falls Tigers, who 0-3 in the MVAC right now, ranked 550th in the state. Brookfield's up at 247, so we're looking at an underdog here right now in Newton Falls. It's not saying they're going to get blown out, but we know Brookfield can score a lot, and that defense, if they start blitzing, is a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, they are with all those guys they have. They have Ryan Tetrick, Caden Cruz coming around, Colin Murphy.
If we get Isaiah Jones back in this game, A.J. Bartlett as well on that defensive side. I mean, they are dominant there on that side of the football. Cody Hoover. One of their big guy. He sweeps up everything in that backfield. He ain't being stopped. But you look at this series record, Newton Falls they're in a long way down. Since 2004, Brookfield has dominated this matchup 12-2 in terms of wins. Newton Falls hasn't won this matchup since 2009 as well. So they have a long way to go in this game, but they have to come in this one positive matchup. They've struggled these last 4 weeks. 4 straight losses. They started off the season 2-0. Newton Falls was on, they were high on it. They won 35-8 against Waterloo, 35-10 against Jackson Milton. Then they come in against Ridge, drop that 36-22. Then Champion, they lose at 41-15. Garfield, who Matt and I, you saw them last year, and that team was fantastic. It's a Division 5 school, absolutely ripping up the MVAC right now, and it's not even close. Undefeated Division 5 team. They won 49-7 in that game. Then LeBray came in here as well, hosted Newton Falls and shut them out. So you look at these last 2 games now for Newton Falls, just 7 combined points, comparing it to giving up nearly 80 on the other side. So they've got to tighten things up in this game. We know Pulowski and this offense can score, and it's not led by Pulowski on its own. Get Christian Davis, Isaiah Jones, DeAndre Craig, all those guys on that offensive side can score. Dave Pulowski, a guy who's really almost been quiet this season, surprisingly, besides that Springfield game. He's been sort of, quiet in and out, he'll make one play here, and then he's kind of quiet the rest of the game. Expect for him to have a big one here tonight. And one thing in this game, Newton Falls has got to show up offensively because they are not going to be able to keep pace with Brookfield. Brookfield scores relentlessly. I mean, we talked about it. 62-0 to Memorial. And that was a game that they were up by halftime. It was, 42-0? And they still added on another 20 in the second half. And then they didn't pull their starters until the kneel down in the very end of that game. So Randy Clark is out to send a message right now. You know, you and I we didn't get to cover them last week in that Crestview game, but we did get to see Mogador and JFK, which we talked about. But one thing we never mentioned on the show is we were sitting in the car driving back here from YSN. We had to get some gear change stuff. We're listening to 1390 The Gambler, who was going to be also on the call there for the Warren JFK game. They were previewing some of the other games in the Valley, and all the guys on the show was like, Crestview should come in, steamroll Brookfield. Brookfield hasn't been getting respect on the season. Their one loss is 6 points to Springfield. This is a team that still sits back. If you look at divisional rankings, 21st in Division 6. In Springfield Division 5, and that was a 6-point game. You can't tell me that there is 16 teams in between 6 points between Springfield and Brookfield. This is a Brookfield team that is garnishing respect. I look for them right now with Randy Clark to come out there and send another message like they did against Memorial.
I believe that one guy, though, on 1390 was like, watch out for this Brookfield team because they are a sleeper team. And that's what they are. I mean, Randy Clark and that whole squad.
But here's the thing. How are they a sleeper? This is a team that was co-champions of the MVAC grade last year, has a head coach with over 15 years of experience, with 100-plus wins under his belt. It has the Pulowski brothers and multiple Division I potential recruits on that team. This is not a sleeper in anyone's mind, besides the fact that people don't want to acknowledge Brookfield because it's this little hidden away town up in the middle of nowhere, 20 minutes from where you live, which is even more in the middle of nowhere.
That's why they call them the sleeper team.
I mean, this team is basically in Pennsylvania. It's nowhere.
5 minutes
they don't
away
get massive crowds. They don't even pull massive crowds in Brookfield.
No.
But this team is one of the best in the entirety of Division 6.
Oh, they are.
And I think
speed. They have
power,
grit even.
They have fantastic defensive IQ. It's so hard to find a team right now in high school football that doesn't lose their assignments. They don't get confused by an offense showing you something different. This is the most disciplined defense I have ever seen play high school football.
Let's just put it this way, and I think I can speak for you too. Every time we go and call Brookfield, we're always excited. Yes, because like what's going to go on this week? What's Davis going to do? What's on the defense side, what's Barlin going to do? What's Hoover going to do?
And you talk about that, and then it's even when they're in that close game, and they're coming down, or they're losing, or they struggled against Springfield. You knew in that game it was a matter of time before one of those guys got loose on either side of the football, and you knew that those were two elite teams going up against one another. Right. And now you come in here, this Brookfield team, we had the pleasure of seeing them with Hayden Gibson last year. Hayden Gibson was putting up numbers and they're looking like he might be the best quarterback of all time for the school. And now the guy who came in for the game right behind him when he got injured, you and I talked in that game, we're like, I don't think Donovan's the guy. He can't throw it downfield. He doesn't show that passer rating.
Randy came in and just extinguished all that. He even said Donovan's probably the better passer.
Right. And now we get here into the season, a lot of doubts from, I think, you and I coming into the season on how Brookfield was going to perform, and they have come out, set the tempo, and Donovan Pulowski not just looks like the better open field runner, he doesn't have the speed of Gibson. He's close.
He's got the technique.
But he has the technique, the arm strength, the deliverability, he's got the stature to do it. This guy is a total package right now for Brookfield, and with the offensive weapons they have around him, we haven't even mentioned Xavier Witherspoon as well. Withrow, sorry. And
Withrow, Isaiah
TJ Laverty out there as well.
TJ Laverty is out there.
This is a unit that is dominant.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about Brookfield. I mean, the season they're having. You even look at Newton Falls. You said to start at 0-2,
Started out 2-0,
and they lost their last 4. Sorry. But this is a team like when I went to high school. So I went to Girard and we played them often.
Yeah.
They're usually like this, and you brought up one of the keys to the game is to be strong on offense. Normally, never strong on offense.
Well, here's what I was going in that before we completely got off track. Quick passes. You're not going to be able to run the football against Brookfield. That defensive line is massive.
Get the ball off.
They may only put 3 guys on the line, but they're sending 5 linebackers your way as well, and you're not getting it all. You have to get their linebackers out of position, which is insanely hard to do. There was a few mistakes that they made in a few of these games on the season that those linebackers have made. They don't make them often. When they do, Newton Falls has to capitalize on them tonight.
They have the 3 guys rushing, but it feels like they have 5 guys rushing because these are big guys and they're quick, they're fast, and they're right behind them. You have those linebackers coming in too.
Oh, yeah, when you got Ryan Tetrick up there just dominating. You don't call his name a lot in the game. He's the defensive tackle that eats up 3 blocks. Yes. Because he is that much bigger than the offensive line across.
We've been down on the field with these guys. We've been down there with Colin.
You're not looking up because you're 6'5" already. Here I am, 5'11", going, jeez, that is big.
He's standing next to me though, and he's like,
oh yeah, freaking there. He's a massive guy.
Yeah, I've known this kid for years too. I've seen what he was growing into. It's like, oh my God.
Well, that game's going to be tonight, 7 p.m. on ysnlive.com, so make sure to check that one out. Newton Falls at Brookfield.
Woo!
And I know there's the Iowa-Maryland game tonight at 8 p.m.
But
watch the first hour of our game. If it's living up to if it's, if it's a good game, stay tuned. Or just watch both of them at the same time. Or, if it's a blowout by the end of the first hour, go ahead and turn it on.
Do what I do. Just watch the game on TV and just listen to your guys' call. That's all.
Yeah.
You can go where both going.
Make it a little confused, but either way.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks y'all for tuning into that one here. Yeah. Let's get into
10 minutes.
Right. Let's get into some college football. I think the most anticipated matchup of the day tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. The Bearcats of Cincinnati, the Fighting Pickles, Desmond Ritter, my boys down in Cincy against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in South Bend, the battle of the undefeateds, the top 10 matchup, 4-0, 3-0, boys.
We'll see how Cincinnati goes in this game because they had a bye week last week, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did you see who would be the upset here? Like,
it's not an upset.
It's not an upset either way. It's not. I think they're not evenly matched, but they're right there.
I honestly want to say that if Cincinnati wins, it's going to be made out to be the upset
because they're on the road.
They're on the road. It's still a group of 5 team. Yes, they're ending the Big 12 in the next 5 years or so. But at the moment, this is a group of 5 team that has not been sitting in the top 10 the last 2 seasons and is garnishing national respect. And to get
they have earned the respect.
They've earned it, yes. But they're still not being given it entirely.
But a win
like come into this game and people want to say, "Oh, Notre Dame should blow Cincinnati out." It's not close. They got Jack Cohn. He's on fire right now, which I mean he is. But this is a game right now of Cincinnati to come out, make their statement, say, "Hey, not only have we garnished our respect as a great team in college football, we are a playoff contender, and we deserve, come the end of this season, to be in that conversation. And if we are undefeated, we deserve to be in that playoff with a win over Notre Dame."
More than anybody else. I mean, like you said, if a win like this is going to definitely help the resume out. And this is a game they circled. Even with the Indiana game, they ended up winning that game. But those are 2 out-of-conference games they needed to win. Or they won one, now they need to win this one. That's what they circled on the calendar coming into the year. So these are big ones for them.
I mean, I don't have too much on this game. I mean, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, it's close.
I mean, the point spread's Cincinnati's -1.5.
Hopefully, Cohn's ready to go. I think Cohn's ready to go after that little injury. He missed the whole second half of the game. Pine came in, and he didn't do too bad.
6 of 8, 81 yards.
Yeah.
Does Jack Cohn even stay the quarterback after that one? I mean,
I don't know.
Notre Dame needs the defense. Cincinnati needs both sides.
Both teams need this.
Yeah. I mean, this is the game. I mean, when we're talking playoff implications, this is the game to be talking about right now because neither side can afford to lose. Cincinnati, they become a one-loss team. They're going to get a New Year's Six game if they win out, which it looks like they will. But they need to be undefeated to be able to make a playoff spot. And that same goes for Notre Dame. They don't have the conference championship. As an 11-1 team, they probably won't get in unless the team's ahead of them fall. This is a moment where both teams need to come in, control their destiny. It's been the thing people have been talking about since 2014 when the playoffs started.
Yeah.
Control your destiny. Go undefeated. Don't give the committee an option. That is this game for both sides.
And we've talked about that with the committee. It's so hard to do that. So that's why these games are so important to win because it's so hard to win every game and have no mistakes going into the playoffs to feel like you belong in the playoffs. So it's big for both teams.
All right, well, let's make predictions. Matt, why don't you start us off? Cincinnati at Notre Dame, number 9, number 7, 3-0, 4-0.
I mean, Desmond Ritter, man, that guy's been tearing it up. And I think it's going to be shown here. I think Cincinnati comes out on them. I'd say 24 to 10. I think Cincinnati comes in and
you think the defense holds strong?
I think they come in and get them.
Okay.
I do.
Mike?
I'm going Cincy think they're gonna put up 30. I'm gonna go 30-24.
All right. You know, I've been rolling with the Fighting Pickles all season long. I got the Bearcats, I got the Chanticleers, and I got the Buckeyes. That's who I'm rolling with this season. That's not changing here.
We only got one team, Matt. We don't have multiple teams.
Yeah, we got.
I got the Bearcats coming in here. I got the Bearcats winning it 42-38. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Defense going to be forgotten about. 42-38, Bearcats on top.
You're going shootout.
I think
it could happen. It's leaning.
I think that's the way Cincinnati wins this game. Make it a shootout. Make Notre Dame's defense stop them. Because I think if you wear down this defense enough, you're going to be able to put up the points, and the offense is going to be able to keep up.
That Cincinnati's game is putting up a lot of points, so it's going to be a shootout.
How about this one? Another top 10 matchup. The Razorbacks of Arkansas, number 8 in the country, 4-0 tomorrow, noon, against the number 2 in Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs, 4-0 as well. A battle of the undefeated. This is coming out. This is the week to watch football. Is it now week 5 here? In conference play, big freaking matchups, and here we are.
Here we are.
What are your guys' thoughts here? Obviously, Georgia 4-0. They haven't had what looks like a signature win yet. I mean, you look at this game last week, and that is fantastic. 62-0 over Vanderbilt. But this is Vanderbilt. This is a terrible team. You thought the one good game was going to be against Clemson, but 10-3, it looks like a game that should have been a lot farther with Georgia's offense supposedly being a lot better. Clemson has shown on defense and offense they suck.
Especially offense.
Right. We talked about it yesterday. I picked BC to win by 16 against them. And Abe upset that, was our first bell ring, so had to go big or go home.
You're feeling yourself. You might be eating some Carl on that one.
Might be in a little bit of trouble. Not going to lie. I wouldn't bet that one if I was anybody else.
We're not experts. We're just saying what we think. So
we're just saying what we think.
We don't want you blowing your money off us.
It's more what we feel, if we're being honest.
We don't want to be responsible if you blow your money. So
but you know what? Arkansas coming off the big win against A&M, an A&M team that's offense has been in peril this season. They've been falling back. It's not looking good. I mean, they lose Kellen Mond, who was the star of this offense, and I don't think that offense is what it used to be. Kellen Mond obviously went to the NFL this year, but that last season he was putting up the numbers. Really, the last 3 for Mond, he was putting up numbers in A&M. He looked great. They lost that, and I think everybody was banking on the fact that they would bring in somebody else that was going to be just as good, but it's so hard to replace a guy like that. I mean, you're even seeing it in Clemson and Ohio State. To be able to replace an NFL-style star quarterback there, potential, it is virtually impossible, even with a load of 5-star recruits that Ohio State, Clemson, and A&M all have.
Yeah, and I know you always talk about A&M and give them a hard time, but that's probably what kept them in the conversation last year was Kellen Mond. But it's keeping on Arkansas side. I mean, how do you not like what they're doing so far?
I love what they're doing so far.
You can even make an argument there's probably top 5 in the country.
They haven't been challenged.
They haven't been, but I'm saying so far.
No, I mean, that's the good thing. They haven't been challenged. They have gone in there and dominated everyone. They destroyed Rice.
Blew out Texas.
They blew out Texas, who we just saw can produce on offense.
Yeah.
Then they go blow out Georgia Southern, what they were supposed to. They come in there and double the score of Texas A&M. And I think you look at it's a 10-point game, but on the other hand, they doubled the opponent's score.
Yeah.
So that's the part I take away from that, because that's what you want to see. You want to see, can I go in there and do twice as well as my opponent? It's basically what they get against Texas, too, 40-21. So, it's what they did against Rice, too, 38-17. They've been doubling their opponent's score or doing it more.
Exactly.
I love what Arkansas is doing. Georgia, as we were saying, they haven't been tested. They haven't had a game that really has brought them down to it. I mean, you want to say the Clemson game? But was Clemson ever going to score in that game? No.
Yeah.
They got a field goal against a second-year quarterback that played, 3 games last year?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Just filling in. But, yeah, that's... As far as Arkansas, they've had a better quality of wins so far in Georgia. I think it's pretty clear. I mean, like you said with Georgia, there was a 10-3 shootout, or not shootout, but a pitcher's duel in that game. So you got to like what Arkansas is doing. Like you said with Texas, they've shown the last week or so they can produce on offense. You hold them 21 points. And then that A&M, I know we give A&M a hard time, but that's still a big win against A&M.
Yeah.
They were, I think, 8th at the time, so that's...
You got a top 10 team. They're still ranked 15th, so clearly the committee, or the AP polls and the coaches polls, they still believe in A&M, which means Arkansas has that big of a win.
Yeah.
They are that good. The big win over Texas, who's once again creeping back near the top 25. I think they were receiving votes at this last AP poll vote. So, this is a big game, but the question is this an upset if Arkansas wins?
To me, it's not. I feel the same way about the Cincinnati game. To me, it's not. It's top 10 matchup with both matchups. It's not to me, but
okay.
I mean,
I feel like it is just because Georgia has been billed as this top contender right now in the SEC. The favorites to upset Alabama potentially this year. The only team that has been touted as the group that can beat Alabama. You know, this is Georgia. This is the only unit that has been said this is as good as Bama. Arkansas hasn't been that. They've never been a great team in the SEC really for a while now.
They've been off the face of the earth for the past
decade or so.
They were good, 2008, 9, right in there.
With Ryan Mallett?
Yeah.
That's the last time they were good.
Nearing the last turn of the decade.
Yeah.
So, you come in here, they're coming back, they're on the rise. This is right now the biggest game in Arkansas's last 5 years.
Yeah.
You come into this one, and that's why I say this is the upset. Because Arkansas, I think coming into this game, does look at themselves as the underdog. They aren't supposed to be here. They aren't supposed to be going up against Georgia with a chance. This is an Arkansas squad who, you look back last 5 years, is the bottom feeders of the SEC. They just feed wins to teams like Georgia. Yeah. Now they're here top 10. I think if Arkansas wins, this is an upset because of that reason.
I mean, I don't think it's a huge upset, but to strengthen your argument, like you said, This would be their statement win. We talked about the win against Texas and the win against Texas A&M for Arkansas, but this would be the one for them.
Right.
So, and like you said, they've been building up for a moment like this to get a signature win like this. So that'd be the reason to me that why it would be an upset. But top 10 matchup, I mean, it's a good one. It can go either way.
All right, predictions, Mike. Why don't you start us off this time around?
I want to go Arkansas, but I don't. I think it's going to be tough for Georgia or Arkansas on the road at Georgia. Georgia's defense and all that. I'm going to go, I think it's going to be close, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. So I'm going to go 24-20, Georgia.
Okay, 24-20. Matt?
This is a tough decision. I mean, Georgia, they're a tough battle team. They can get down into the grit and take you the whole way. They got a good quarterback. He's okay with JT Daniels. But Arkansas is flashy, and they're on a streak. The last time they lost was 52-3 against Alabama. That seems like a long time ago.
That's not the team that's on the field now.
That is not the team that's on the field now.
The coach hasn't playing well.
And that's going to show here because they're going to win. I got Arkansas. I'm going to go by a field goal or a touchdown.
I'm going for Arkansas in this game, but
I got to go upset. I gotta take them because I will. If they win and I don't pick them, I feel stupid.
What do you got?
What do I got? That's a good question. I think Georgia. I think Georgia takes hold in this first half. They hold it tight. They go up into the halftime. I think 10-0. I think they hold it in that first half. I think Arkansas comes out big during the third quarter, makes it 10-7. They get the first score. I think they come down into this final fourth quarter, and you get multiple scores going back and forth. I have a 24-28. Ring the bell, it's Arkansas time.
You know who I really like on this team? I mean, their rushing game. They got that Traylon Smith 82 yards last week, and then their quarterback ran for another 50 yards. They can run and gun, too.
Yeah.
24-28. I got Arkansas on this one. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's coming down to it. But, I think the Razorbacks have what it takes this year to take the SEC out of, potentially the hands of Alabama and Georgia if they can keep up this tempo that we've seen. Yeah. If they take it in here, it's hard-pressed to say Arkansas can't run the table. They would have a difficult matchup next 2 weeks against Ole Miss and then Auburn. And then they obviously finish out the season, one of their last 2 weeks, taking on Bama. So, I mean, they're in a point right now. It is must-win football for Arkansas.
It's big time for them in the middle of their schedule.
I mean, you could almost say it's the same thing for Georgia. I mean, they next week will take on Auburn, and then they have Florida down the schedule as well. And they finish out the season against that dangerous Georgia Tech team. So, I mean, I think both sides say must-win football, and it's always must-win football when you're going for the playoffs. So,
yeah.
Next game up here, another huge matchup for the SEC. It might just be SEC's weekend right now in terms of the biggest and best games.
You're killing me with these games.
I know.
Because I want,
Week 5, baby.
It makes your head hurt because they're so good games.
All right, so tomorrow, 3:30, Alabama, the Crimson Tide, the number 1 ranked team in the country, the number 1 ranked team for quite some time, 4-0 against The Ole Miss Rebels from Mississippi, number 12 ranked 3-0, coming in with a Heisman front-running quarterback in Matt Corral. He put up 300 plus with 3 touchdowns against Tulane. He's been dominant this season. You go back against Malik Cunningham and that Louisville Cardinals offense. You know, he put up 381 yards in that game. He has been dominant when it comes to throwing the rock around. 5 touchdowns against Austin, PA. So this is a guy coming in to Tuscaloosa, ready to pull some strings and make that defense his puppet. Alabama better watch out. And Bryce Young better come to play. He put up 5 touchdowns in their last game with 313 against Florida. Put up 240 with 3 touchdowns. Against Mercer, did just as fine. 227, 3 touchdowns. This is a guy that has been rolling along as well. This is a battle of the quarterbacks. 350 in week 1 against Miami with 4 TDs on the ground or through the air as well. This is a battle of the quarterbacks. And as much as people want to say, oh, it's the defense, it's wide receivers, this is quarterback versus quarterback, modern day football.
Yep.
You
got something, Matt?
This is a statement game here because this is Lane Kiffin coming in, who was under Saban.
Against his leader.
You can, mentor, you can call it that. And this is Kiffin's, second year now with Ole Miss. He was, FAU for a little bit.
Yeah, he floated around a little.
Yeah. But now this is for real. He's got to come in here. This is a game that they got to come out and take. Matt Corral, I mean, especially with Matt Corral, I mean, he feels that a lot of people feel like he can represent a threat. And this is the game where they really have to show him that threat.
NFL draft this coming season, too.
Yeah. Even Pittsburgh was talking about picking him. I'm like, please.
Pittsburgh wants every quarterback.
But if Alabama wins this game, if this stands further that they're dominant and they're here and they're here to win again and again and again. So
this has almost been an Alabama team that you've had a few question marks on. After that Florida game, they didn't look like the dominant freak of nature that we've seen. And I mean, you can credit that to a few of their losses who they have sent a ton of talent to the NFL this past season. I mean, they have dropped quarterback after quarterback after quarterback year after year. And, you finally get down here and you almost wonder, do they still have what it takes? You look at the spread for this game, Alabama sits at 14.5-point favorites against Ole Miss. I don't think that's a fair assessment of this Ole Miss squad.
I wouldn't touch that one.
Who has beaten everybody by 20+. Besides Louisville, who they beat by 19. Then they win by nearly 40. Then they win by 40 the next week. This is an offense that can score. This is a defense that can hold.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a close game.
Like
obviously, everybody knows Alabama. They're a good team. But the defense has been okay. I don't think this is the defense we know of old. They let up 14 points to Mercer, and I think that's where you look at this and you go, that's not right. That's not Alabama football. We even talked about it early in the season. The standard was set here with Alabama on how you take on FCS teams. It's 60-0, it's 50-0, it's blowouts, it's shutouts. Alabama set the precedent here. Everybody else is catching up. And now we're looking at it like, hold on. Alabama's precedent, they're not below their standard that they've set. This might not be the Alabama team. Might.
Let's not get too carried away. So
right.
We're not going to overreact too much.
They have a rough schedule, obviously. Number 10, Florida 2 weeks ago. Now number 12, Ole Miss. Next week, number 15, A&M. Then, you can't look past that last 2 weeks. Arkansas, Auburn, in Auburn. So, close matchup.
This is a battle.
This is a rough season right now for Bama.
Yeah.
And this might be their first slip-up.
Yeah, it might be.
But, as I was saying there, this could be one of the only seasons where if Alabama loses a game like this, I don't think it's one that gets held against them. I think as much as another one-loss team because of their strength of schedule right now in this season.
Like you said, it's a battle of the quarterbacks, and like I said, it's a battle of coaches. Saban versus Kiffin. Mentor,
Saban doesn't lose.
No, mentor
to his
versus
former.
Yeah, mentor versus.
I don't remember what the all-time record is for Saban against his coordinators, but it's I think one or two wins for the former coordinators, and then like 20, 30 plus for Saban. He doesn't lose.
Then both Corral and Young, both Heisman candidates. Okay, they're both electric in the pocket. They have weapons all around them. Ole Miss, Alabama has that Billingsley that can get out, just create space. gotta watch out.
Okay, here it is. After 2 games in the 2020 season, Saban is 22-0, beating them by a combined score of 945 to 380. He's winning about 43-17 in those games.
Wow.
I think I'm ready to make my pick.
So if he loses, it won't.
It'd be the first time he lost to a former coordinator.
Oh wow!
All right, I'm ready to make picks.
I'm ready to make picks.
Mike's ready. Take it.
Mike,
want me to go first?
Yeah, take it.
Yeah, go first.
You said you wanted it.
So you just showed the stat. It's ridiculous for Saban. I mean, it's every record for him is ridiculous. It's Nick Saban,
Greatest coach in college football history.
There's a first time for everything. I'm going Ole Miss 37-33 on the road. I'm taking the under in this game, but it's going to be close and it's going to be high scoring. But I'm going 37-33.
You're taking Ole Miss and Tuscaloosa.
I got to pick an upset. I didn't pick the last one.
Matt?
All right, Matt Corral. I'm going to go a little stats here. I see something here.
That kid's special.
Corral, he has thrown at least 1 touchdown in the past 15 straight games. That's one more, and he'd tie Eli Manning for the second longest streak in program history, behind Chad Kelly's 22. Remember Chad Kelly? I mean, he was a good quarterback. He was just got in a lot of trouble. But they have, like I said before, they have weapons too. Dontario Drummond. That guy can, once again, create space, just like Billingsley. They can get out. They can rush. This is tough.
Tougher than the last one, or?
This is tough. Saban is king. Like, he is king. You set the record. This would be his first loss against a coordinator. But you know what? This would be the one to lose it to, because Kiffin can coach. He went down to that Florida Atlantic team. Then he take him to a bowl game. I think they went to a bowl game.
They had multiple winning seasons down there. I think he was almost undefeated in one of them as well.
Yep. Then he comes up here, Ole Miss, and this is a program that has suffered in recent years, and he brings them back up immediately. I gotta go upset. I gotta go Ole Miss.
2 upsets.
I want Ole Miss. Listen, this might be this a horrible reason, but I love their blue, like their blue helmets, man. Those are sick.
Yeah, no, I do that.
They're sick. Yeah. That's not the reason why I'm picking them.
They want it out there with the swag.
But sometimes you like teams for the colors.
I was just thinking a couple
and,
minutes ago, like, man, what would be cool if we get that blue Ole Miss flag up here too? That would look sick.
This whole wall's gonna be covered in flags.
Yeah, we get the Chanticleers and Ole Miss.
Well, you're the one paying for it. Listen, it's expensive.
I already have one.
Yeah.
So.
But I go Ole Miss.
Score?
I'm 40 to 37. I don't know. Field goal.
Huh. All right.
You're on.
Two have picked the upsets. Top 2 Heisman candidates right now.
You gonna pick 2 in a row?
Whoever.
This way. Top 2 Heisman candidates right here. Bryce Young, Matt Corral. Shut up. They've been dominating this season. Both of these teams have shown that they are potentially top contenders, the real deal in the SEC. But as we said, Nick Saban don't lose to his former coordinators. We just saw it. He's been outscoring his former coordinators nearly 3-4 to 1. You know, this is a guy. This is the guy. The premier head coach in college football. You set the standard at Nick Saban, and no one else comes within 15 miles of this legendary coach. But even Bear Bryant lost a football game. Even Nick Saban's lost a football game. Even Nick Saban's been upset.
Where are you going here? You're setting it up.
You're like Lee Corso. Like, I'm like Kirk Herbstreit.
This has never happened, but.
I'm like Kirk Herbstreit, and Mike, you're like what's his name? Desmond Howard. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll be Pollock, David Pollock.
Oh yeah, he's David Pollock.
Okay. I mean, you look at these two teams, both sides, the offense is rolling. Bama's already had a close 2-point game against Florida. Alabama won that 31-29. We know they can pull out in a tight game against a good quarterback, but now they're facing potentially great quarterback in Matt Corral for Ole Miss. I think comes down to it, 38-35, Alabama. Crimson Tide takes it, go 5-0. They stay number 1 in the country. Saban don't lose, 23-0.
There's a first time for everything. I'm not guaranteeing it, but stuff happens. Awesome. It's college football, too.
That's what they said in the last 2 games last year, and the ones before that, and the ones before. There's a first time for everything. First time ain't coming to 2020.
I didn't say it all last year. I said nobody's touching them, and I was right.
Yeah, I mean, no one touched them last year. But
right.
Matt Corral with the coral blue uniforms.
Next game here, we might have to go quicker in this one. 4-0 again versus 4-0. The late night matchup. Number 21, the Baylor Bears. Number 19, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. OSU. OSU.
Yeah.
OSU.
I like.
Same here,
The
Matt.
Cowboys.
And the Cowboys, yeah.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? What do you guys think? How about them Cowboys coming off the big win over Kansas State, a close win over Boise, and a close win over Tulsa, a close win over Missouri State? This is a team that doesn't look dominant. And then you come in for Baylor's side, close game against Iowa State, blowout against Kansas, everyone blows them out. Big game against Texas Southern, expect that. Close game against Texas State, a game they should have won by a larger margin. So both teams in here now, potential big game, most likely very close.
I mean, yeah, you should Oklahoma State. They have some quality wins on the year. So, I mean, they've definitely been in some good environments and some battle-tested games. I mean, Boise State's never
on the road in Boise.
That's tough. Boise State's always tough. So.
Got to play in that awful blue, so.
What do you think, Matt?
I like Oklahoma State here.
Let's get straight into predictions here, Matt.
Yeah.
Let's go straight to it. Oklahoma State, Baylor.
Oklahoma State, 27-14.
I gotta think of a score.
All right, I'm taking Oklahoma State. I'm going 35-32.
I'm going Baylor 30-27.
All right, that's a good one. All right, let's move in here. NFL after we've blown 27 minutes on college football, 10 minutes on high school. How about this game last night? Jacksonville going 0-4 now in the season. Lawrence had a good first half in terms of getting into guys. They couldn't find in the end zone through the air. All 3 touchdowns came on the ground for them. 2 for James Robinson, 1 for T-Law. 78 yards for Robinson on 18 carries. They did what they needed to. That was what the game plan should have been from the beginning, getting him the carries and letting him be the bell cow. You saw when they let Lawrence throw it less times, he went 17-24 with 200-plus yards. You want that. On the flip side, Joe Burrow just had a better day. I mean, you look at 25-32, 342 yards, 348 yards, with 2 touchdowns, and then Joe Mixon gets his on the ground as well. Uzama with 95 yards, Boyd with 118, Jamar Chase with 77, and he went down with an injury too, didn't he? Jamar? Maybe not. Oh, well.
Not that I remember, but
A lot happened last night.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well then never mind there. But you look on the other side, Jacksonville hasn't shown they have a wide receiver to go to, and they have that same problem here. I mean, Laviska Shenault was the only guy that they really found any consistency to. He had 99 yards, and no one else was over 30 yards in that one, and only one of those guys was over 3 receptions other than Shenault. So this is a Jacksonville squad, continues to struggle, but I think this is the best game they've had yet.
I mean, yeah, we talked about yesterday when we were talking about this game about Trevor Lawrence. It's not so much the issue. I mean, he's going to be fine, but we talked about the consistency with the passing, too many interceptions. You couldn't ask for a better performance from him last night. Even with the same side with Joe Burrow, they both played well last night, both young quarterbacks. He just outplayed him a little. Had put up more numbers than him because he got more help from his receivers. But
Joe's putting on a show.
I like what I saw from Trevor Lawrence last night.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
Joe the Show Burrow.
Okay.
What? I mean,
That's an easy one.
That is an easy one.
Joe Churro goes down to.
You can go a lot of routes with Joe.
Churros sound good.
You can do a lot with Joe.
All right.
What do you got, Matt?
Nothing here. All right, let's get into Sunday games. Let's make some predictions coming along here.
Dominated. That's my take.
He's still salty about Cincinnati. So.
Yeah, probably.
No, I'm not. I like Joe Burrow and Chase.
Well, we got 20 minutes left in the show. Let's get into some of the upcoming games this Sunday. 0-3 Jets, 2-1 Titans. Probably won't be close.
We can skip.
I got Tennessee.
I got Tennessee by 20.
Is anybody picking the Jets?
No.
Why would you?
I'm just saying.
I don't think anybody in this room should pick a football team from New York. Period.
No.
They're 0-6.
And like I said last week or yesterday, if you're looking to bet any games this weekend, bet the house on this game because this is going to be close.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's about to put up another big one. He's going to have 40 carries, 200 yards.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. No, the 1-2 Chiefs in Philadelphia to take on the 1-2 Eagles. Jalen Hurts has a chance to really cement himself as a big quarterback in the league right now with the win over the Chiefs. Chiefs defense has been struggling. The offense has looked okay. I mean, it's not what it once was. I think the loss of Sammy Watkins hurts that, and they haven't been able to run the ball as well with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
But they did add Josh Gordon, who, still looks like a beast. But
I don't believe he's playing this weekend.
He's not playing this weekend?
No, not yet. They said it's going to be a while before he's up to speed.
He's got to get acclimated and everything. But I'm going
to the drills and stuff.
Are you picking yet? Or?
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead. I got to think.
I'm picking Chiefs, and I think it's a guarantee they're going to win.
You're picking the guarantee?
I
don't
think
guarantee.
I think the Eagles, I think it's definitely a game that they're going to be back on track. And the Eagles didn't show me anything against Cowboys. Their offense put up some numbers. They put up 21 points. That's okay. And they might do it again against the Chiefs defense because it's not good. But they have some injuries. Yeah. They had an injury in their secondary, the Eagles, so I don't like that.
You just made my decision.
Eagles, 7th ranked defense in the NFL, going up against the 28th ranked defense. The offensive side obviously leans towards the Chiefs, but I always thought defense wins championships. Defense wins football games.
Still my decision.
I still got the Chiefs winning it though, in a close one down at the end.
But look, you see, 7th ranked defense. They gave 41 last week, and they beat the Falcons. So they don't put up any points. So
I say Chiefs win, but Mahomes just quit screwing around. Quit doing the no-look passes. Just come out and throw the ball.
He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I don't think he needs the circus tricks.
No, because he got picked off. They're starting to catch on to his tricks.
We can say one of them, though. The one
I know.
That was at the end, but...
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, it counts.
And especially against this Eagles defense, you said, 7th in the league? Just run the ball. Edwards-Helaire had a decent game last game.
They need to get him going again. That's the thing.
They need to get him going more. Mahomes, get your passes to Kelsey. Get him out to Hill. Simple screens to Hill, and he'll let it take away. Same thing with Hardman. Kelsey, you can find him in the middle. Just short passes and strong ones. Quit doing this.
You talk about the Eagles' defense is 7th ranked, but they got picked on last week because they had some injuries in their secondary.
Yeah.
So I don't like that part.
We'll see how they respond. Next game up here on 1 p.m. as well. Your team, the Cowboys, get to host the 3-0 Sam Darnold-led Panthers. Christian McCaffrey hasn't been hot, but Chuba Hubbard's been taking his spot. Mike, why don't you give us a little bit of analysis on that?
I like Chuba Hubbard. But I think with the stuff from McCaffrey, they're still not 3-0. They're a good team right now, but they have injuries with McCaffrey. They had an injury on their defense with J.C. Horn out.
Chuba Hubbard.
I don't know if that matters to me on their defense because you see the Cowboys' offense, what they've been doing, what they even did last year, even though they had a down year. But I'm going Cowboys at home to give them their first loss. All Phantom aside.
I know. They had a great game last week against the Eagles. I think they caught the Eagles sleeping a little bit and just burst it open. They blew them out. Carolina's cruising. They got a pretty good defense.
Pretty good. It's the best in the NFL
right now. Pretty good.
Cowboys defense 25th ranked.
But let me say this though, Matt, before you move any further. With Carolina, you look at their schedule. They beat the Jets and the Texans, so this would be a big game for them to say, hey, we're an undefeated team.
And that's why I think they're going to play even more harder and get the win here. I'm going Carolina. I say close game. Maybe by a field goal.
I got a close game coming in here, too. It's that number 1 ranked defense for the Panthers here. We saw the Cowboys went up against a tough defense week 1. They played fantastic in that game, though, against the Buccaneers.
Can't ask for any better.
Can't ask for any better from them. It just came down to the end, and Tom Brady is Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, and he won the game like he was supposed to. And you look at the Cowboys since then, they're 2-0, and you like what they've done so far. Prescott's looked good. They've got the ground game going, and I think they figured out how to work with Pollard and Zeke last week. And you saw it. Zeke finally was able to get the big yards.
They're getting balance between both
points. Yeah, I think they come out here again. They struggle to run the football a little bit more. They start throwing it too much. I think Dak finishes with 2 picks in this game, 350-plus yards, 4 touchdowns for him. But I think Sam Darnold keeps it clean. I think he goes 3 touchdowns as well, 235, 300 yards for him. I think Chuba on the ground goes about 80 yards. But I have to give the edge over to the Cowboys. Just in this game, without McCaffrey, potentially, and without McCaffrey at his strongest, if anything.
When they get McCaffrey and Hubbard both back together...
I just think with Carolina, they have too many injuries to keep themselves... They're going to be in it, but to outshoot the Cowboys is going to be hard. Because you see the Cowboys' offense is explosive. The Panthers are missing their best player and their best player on offense overall. So that's why I'm going Cowboys.
Yeah, top 10 offense right now for the Cowboys if they keep it rolling. We expect it. We'll see what happens here. New York Giants at the Saints. Jameis Winston's going to win here. It's going to be 3-1. Expect a decent game from Daniel Jones. He knows how to put up some numbers, so.
But I got nothing on this game. Other than that, I have nothing for the Giants.
How about this one? Potential game here for the Browns. It's in Minnesota, taking on the 1-2 Vikings, but that 2 losses for the Vikings are not bad losses. Those are there.
A couple of buddies were in here before the show. They're like, Browns going to come in and blow the Vikings out. I'm like, hey, don't take them very lightly.
The Vikings have not been blown out.
They have not been blown out. They lost on a missed field goal against Arizona. What they finally beat. I mean, they beat that Seahawks team, and we called that last week.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook can take off, and Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback as well. He fits. We talk. He's just like Derek Carr. He fits well in the Viking system. Is he elite? No, but he fits in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
The question is, he's had 3 great games. Kirk Cousins is not a consistently great quarterback in his career. He has been very up and down. He's had a lot of 1 o'clock games, though. I think that's played to his benefit because he's not a guy that's good in prime time.
Yeah.
You see his numbers in prime time, they're poor. And you go into this game, second straight home game now. They lose their first 2 games on the road narrowly. They come back home, double-digit win against the Seahawks, against what was supposed to be a really good offense in Seattle. They haven't found their rhythm yet. Now they're coming in against a total package Browns. I think the Browns take this game. I think it's close, though. I don't think it's what our buddies were saying in blowout town. I think this is one that is going to come down to it, and I think it's going to test the Browns' savvy in this game.
I think so, too. I got the Browns, too, here. I do.
Too.
But don't take the Vikings lightly at all.
No, definitely don't. And
don't.
And like you said, Matt,
I called them out too earlier. I'm like, Alex, stand up here, like, what? Like
you said,
I got mad. Like, don't, no.
It's a potential trap game.
Yeah,
they could be overlooking them.
But
I don't think it's gonna be close. I think, like you guys both said. What do you?
Nothing.
I'm looking ahead at the next game here, just get some stuff pulled up.
But I like the Browns in this game.
Yeah,
all right. Next game here, 0-3 Lions, led by Jared Goff versus the Bears, who are holding the question mark. It's in Soldier Field. Dalton is the starter right now, he is good to go. This was, as of 2 days ago, he wasn't ready to go. We're still not, Matt Nagy's not going to say who it is until they're coming up to the game, and I think that's smart by him. Now the Lions don't know who to prepare for. This gives the Bears the best shots to go 2-2, but I think if Justin Fields is in this game, the way that offensive line has shown that they can't block, I mean, he might be better off not having an offensive line and just having, an extra 5 wide receivers out there.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly. But the Bears, this has to be a good game for them, but I think this is the Lions' first win.
I was just going to go there. I think it's the Lions' first win. They played good in all 3 of their games so far, even though they lost them.
I think so, too.
They've been playing close in these games. I think Jared Goff and their offense is going to put up enough to win this game.
I think so as well. They have DeAndre Swift that balanced the table out with Goff. He doesn't have the big name receivers, but he has guys that can get done. He has Hawkinson.
He has probably what we've said is the worst wide receivers core in the NFL, but I don't think that's going to matter.
But I just don't see anything out of the Bears that ever wants me to pick them. They
not
just
on
don't
the
do
offense,
anything.
no.
Yeah, especially offense.
Defense is good.
Defense,
great defense.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you give them the edge potentially if you're going to pick them. It's just the offense hasn't shown any signs of life so far. Next game here, 1-2 Texans, 2-1 Bills. It's still the Davis Mills show, so. We'll see how that one turns out.
I'm going Bills.
Bills.
I like the Bills coming off that last performance. I think they rolled this one as well. Next game, the 0-3 Colts, 1-2 Dolphins. Still no Tua time. It's Jacoby Brissett time going up against his former squad. It's being played in Miami, though, so perhaps give the one-win team the edge here.
I'm going Colts get their first win. We talk about Jacoby Brissett. I mean, he had a good game last week, but
Jacob Eason playing?
I believe so, yeah.
I believe it's Eason. I think it's Sam Miller.
But yeah, I mean, you talk about Brissett. We talked about him last week. I mean, he had a good game last week, but he's inconsistent. So I'm going Colts get the first win.
Yeah, so it's going to be Jacob Eason at the helm here. I like Jacoby Brissett in this game, though. I like what the Dolphins had going with Tua before he went down. I think they take that one again here. I think Dolphins win this.
I got the Dolphins.
I like Jacoby Brissett. I thought it would have been a good option for Indy to keep him. I think that he would have been a good way to lead them into the future. He's a little older, but he showed a lot of upside there, and I think he helped them through a down year and a recovery year after Andrew Luck's unexpected retirement.
Playing his former team here, so we'll see.
How about this one? 1-2 Washington, 1-2 Falcons. Battle of crap. It's the toilet bowl here in week 4.
Heineke goes off. Falcons doesn't really have a defense. I say Heineke finds his groove and goes off.
I'm going football team. Falcons won last week because somebody had to win. Yeah. So that's why I got the first.
I'm going football team big.
I got Washington 2-2. They break even. All right. Seahawks, 49ers, 2-1. 49ers, 1-2. Seahawks, still waiting for Seattle to find that offense and get that defense going too. I mean, this is not the Seahawks of old, 31st ranked defense. The offense is 13th ranked, but as we've been saying, we're not generally impressed with what they're doing.
No.
They've been okay. They haven't been the Seahawks for the first 8 weeks like we've seen. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they flip the switch in the last half. If they go even here in the first, go 4-4, that works, and then they flip it in the last half and completely change things up, that could be good for them.
Yeah, honestly, I say Seattle gets back on track here. I say they get a solid win against the Niners. I think they got their head clouded with dust for a little bit and said, hey, what are we doing? We got a big game this week. And I think they bounce back. I think they pull off a close win.
I'm going Hawks here.
I'm going Hawks.
I don't see them falling to 1-3. And like you said, if they can hang around like 500 for the first half, about half the season, they could put themselves in a chance to make a run. So I'm going Hawks here.
I don't think Seahawks are doing it.
Yeah.
I haven't liked their offense. Their wide receivers haven't been getting it going. You look on the other hand, 49ers were in a close battle last week against the Packers. I mean, they've been close so far in the season. They haven't looked impressive, yes, but I think they've looked more impressive than the Seahawks so far, and that's why I'm giving the Niners the edge here. I'm saying Niners take this football game.
All right.
How about this one? Battle of the undefeateds in the NFL. Someone's got to lose. Our undefeateds are going to start dropping like flies. 3-0 Cardinals in Los Angeles in the new stadium, SoFi. Will they be so fine tonight or on Sunday? The Rams 3-0 as well. Who's taking this one?
Cards.
I got Cardinals, man. I don't know.
The Rams need a loss. They need a loss. They're on the high. All this Matthew Stafford stuff. They need to relax here.
Yeah.
People are saying they're a team to beat in the NFC.
Cardinals,
they're not the team to beat in the NFC.
I've talked about them time and time again. I like Murray. I like Christian Kirk is unbelievable. They had D-Hop. AJ Green's still shown that he has some gas in the tank. And I like their running back, dude. I like
the running game kind of concerned me in this game, though.
Yeah, I like Edmonds. I like Connor. They kind of balance each other out, especially when they have Murray, who can pretty much do it all. I like the Cardinals.
I got the Cardinals as well. How about this one? Packers looking to stand tall in Lambeau against the 1-2 Steelers. Matt, give us a little analysis here on your team.
Well,
there's not much to give.
Defense, I believe TJ Watt's coming back. Let me just check.
All right, here. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big night against this defense that has shown little since the loss of Watt. I mean, the offense was even worse last week, and I think that's where you lose this game.
He was a full participant at practice.
Okay, so Watt will be back. So I think the defensive side comes back for the Steelers. But you look at it, week one, their only win on the season. They won because of the defense. It wasn't the offense.
Yeah.
Now you look at their 2 losses of the season. Obviously, the one last week to the Bengals, they lost because their defense let up 24. Offense couldn't produce. The offense for this squad sucks. Yeah. Frankly, it sucks.
It's terrible.
I mean, it is one of the worst in the NFL. They can't run it. Big Ben can hardly throw it. They show no versatility. There's no changing its basic offense by a basic old quarterback. Who, frankly, I think this is his final year in the NFL. It should be. I mean, he's
done enough. He's a Hall of Famer.
Right. I think they need to break even, give him one more winning season, and then he's done. I mean, this is it for him. But I got the Packers taking this one double-digit win.
I got Pack for all the reasons you just said, so get over that.
You know, I can't pick against my team.
I mean, yeah, it's hard not to.
It's very hard to here. Aaron Rodgers completely dusted off that rust from the pads and has become Aaron Rodgers again. But I think Pittsburgh, I mean, they got their defense coming back, and I don't like Joe Schober as a starter, but I think he can come in and, trade in and out. I think defense definitely going to be the winner in this game. I think they do a couple of the things they did against Buffalo, maybe get a block kick, something miracle will happen. And I think they pull it off.
Well, Matt's counting on miracles in Lambeau.
Yeah. It's
not too many happen for the opponents in Lambeau.
It's not going to be Big Ben. The guy, I was watching highlights the other day. That interception he had, that was just horrible.
Put it right into the gut of that linebacker.
Yeah, I know.
Let's move on. Matt's getting upset.
Yeah. All right, here. How about this one? Potentially the biggest game of the week if you look at things. 2-1 Ravens in Denver to take on the 3-0 Broncos. This is the real test for the Broncos here. That they have 3 wins over opponents they needed to beat. I mean, those were teams that they should have beat, and they did. They went 3-0 against a team group that's 0-9. They did what they had to. They came in here now. They host the Ravens in a spot that they should be in. Now the question is, can they hold on to that spot here against the 2-1 Ravens?
I think it's going to be a pitcher's duel. I think 2 good defenses going at each other. I mean, they both have good offenses,
I'll be getting the tough games at the end here. We're trying to go fast.
I'm going Ravens. We got to speak up.
I hate it. I think the Broncos, they need to settle down a little bit. Like I said, I think they're on a hot streak. I think they show enough to say that they are a dominant team in this game, but I think the Ravens come out in the end.
Okay, so you look at this game here, as you were saying, I think the Broncos need that reality check. They're 3-0. They're riding the high in the mile-high city where this game is being played, but I think reality comes crashing back down in Denver. Ravens come in here, they go 3-1. I think it's a close game. I think they do take it by a full possession, though, potentially 10 points for the Ravens, but I think we come out of this game liking what we saw out of the Broncos.
Yeah.
This next game.
How about this? Game of the week, 8:20, the late game for the NFL in Foxborough. Tom Brady's return. The GOAT is back in his hometown. Or not his hometown, but the town where he built the New England territories, basically.
It's Brady versus Belichick. We've been waiting for this game since he left. So
I love everyone's waiting for this game. I don't think it's going to be close.
I think it's Brady everywhere.
I mean, did you guys see what LeBron said?
Yes.
Okay, so for those that didn't, LeBron said, this is a big game for Tom Brady. He's going back to where started. He needs to go do what I did in 2010 when I came back to Cleveland the first time.
Not even close.
I quieted that crowd. That's what he said.
But I thought he was going to say environment. I was going to say environment's not even close. But.
No. He said you need to come back there just like I did in 2010. Quiet the crowd. First game back, shut them up quickly. Because if you let that crowd that's loved you for 20 years get inside your head, it's going to be a long night for you. Yeah. And, that's what LeBron was at. That was his hometown. It's where he grew up. He came down there after basically betraying the whole city. Much like I think a lot of people...
On national TV.
Right. I think that's what a lot of people in New England feel like he did as well. He left them, teetering on the edge there, and now we're getting all this other stuff coming out about he would have signed with the 49ers in a heartbeat if they had called for him and lost to the Chiefs. And now you get into all of this stuff coming right in here the week before this big game back in Foxborough. I think Tom Brady comes in there, takes over the first quarter, takes over the second, loses the third, comes back in the fourth, though, and puts up even more. I think Buccaneers take this.
I say by at least 2 touchdowns.
This will be quick. Next one.
Huh? No, that's Mondays. We talked about that one later.
Oh, okay. Good.
So, Matt, let's finish this out the way we're supposed to. Finish out Week 3. Highlight of the week.
Highlight of the week.
Highlight of the week. My one, ringing the bell for the first time. No better feeling on my end.
I'm going my Cowboys winning on Monday night.
Yeah, okay.
So they were pretty dominant.
This guy, okay. There's tight end for the Bengals. This guy had a torn ACL. Yeah. He had a torn ACL a year ago. Came back, had a performance last night, including 2 touchdowns. What a great bounce back. That's a highlight right there.
Yep.
All right.
CJ.
Now it's time for the Ultimate Award. To end off Week 3, start of October, end of the show, this week's Meat of the Week.
This was a given. As soon as I saw this was a given. Mike, Dallas Cowboys La'el Collins attempted to bribe an NFL drug test collector. What a meathead, man. Why would you even think about doing that?
These stories only come out of Dallas, so.
Dallas really gets the biggest, weirdest stories, man.
They have at least once. A couple years ago, some guy tried stealing underwear from somewhere.
He was an issue. He missed multiple tests and was trying to bribe that test collector. So either way, he was going to be suspended. So I figured, I guess I'll give it a try.
He's gone like the next 5 weeks, but they need him back. So
the guy's going to get drug tested every week from here on out too. It's going to be hilarious.
What a meathead.
All right, well, thank you all for tuning in once again. That wraps up Week 3 of the show. Make sure to check out Matt and I tonight in Brookfield for the Newton Fall Tiger versus Brookfield game. And we'll see you all next week here. I'm Alec. That's Mike. That's Mike. That's Matt. I got M&M crew over here. We'll see ya.